Alright, welcome back after your coffee break.
Yay!
Doing very well. It's our session 4, another 40 minutes. And we've got your notes again. Please take one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Alright, so here we go. On to delivering the presentation. We've got it all prepared, we've got our ideas together. Now, the big days come. And so by the end of this session, you'll be able to identify and understand pre-talk preparation, body language and movement, the importance of that, the importance of using your voice, the importance of interacting with the audience, what to do when things go wrong, and handling questions and answers. Okay? And just to remind you that the assignment for this session, there's nothing today, so you can relax, but each of you will create and present a 5-minute oral presentation on one of our new products to our colleagues using PowerPoint for peer and supervisor evaluation 2 days after the end of this 6-session course. Okay? So still got a few days to go, but just to let you know up front, that'll be the assessment for this session. Create and present a 5-minute oral presentation on one of our new products to colleagues using PowerPoint for peer and supervisor evaluation 2 days after the end of this 6-session course. So we're in session 4, and there's 2 more to go. We'll be due 2 days after that. Okay? So we'll give you more details later on. Alright, so let's move on to part 3 now, delivering the presentation. The big day's arrived, our seminar room's full, and you're the one. Perhaps your presentation could start like this though.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Ballmer!
Give it up. Give it up. Give what?
You still got Microsoft?
Is it? I don't think so.
They're more the conservative stuff.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, their answer to Steve Jobs.
Wow, that's awesome. That's funny.
He's puffed.
He's given it all.
Words for you. I love this company. Yeah!
That's 5 words.
Alright, well that's one way to start a presentation.
It's different.
It's something to think about. It's not quite our style here, but it's one way. Alright. So before we start, the pre-talk preparation. Alright. And so there's just 5 points here. Number 1, plan to arrive a few minutes early and set up everything and test your equipment, especially the computers and projectors. Make sure they work. There's nothing worse than you just assume and no picture. Yes, it's very disruptive. Secondly, dress appropriately for your audience. Yeah, you know, we should know that by just knowing the people. If we know our audience, we'll know how to dress. Turn off your cell phone. It's bad enough when their phones ring in your presentation. It's worse when the presenter's phone rings in his own presentation. We remember that. Fourthly, remember, make about 10% more handout copies than you need, because you never know that customer could just sneak in at the last minute, you know, the latecomers, and we don't want to miss out. So always make 10% more, and maybe you can distribute the handouts on the chairs before we start, and they can take them home, alright? And so if we just think of that, so think of those 5 points: arrive a few minutes early, dress appropriately, turn off the cell phone, make about 10% more, and distribute the handouts at the beginning on the chairs. Let's just, if we turn that off, What are those points again?
Arrive
Yeah.
early.
Arrive early.
Dress appropriately.
Okay.
Test your equipment.
Okay.
Turn off your phone.
10% more handouts.
10. All right. Good. Just a little quick recall. All right. Carrying on. All right. So next one. So we're all prepared. We're all nice and early. We're well prepared actually. But the point is, we can still be ineffective if it's delivered poorly. That's why we're focusing on the delivering. See, we've got everything prepared well, we've thought about our audience, got it all together, but if we don't deliver well, it falls flat, doesn't it? And we want to try to avoid that. Alright, so the three main areas. Body language. Using your voice and interacting with the audience. These are the three main areas we want to focus on to make sure that our delivery is as good as we are able to do. Okay? So let's have a look at the first one. The body language and movement. Number one, be relaxed. Be relaxed. I know we're very, obviously we'll have a podium panic, but take a deep breath and listen to some music or something, whatever it is, but try and be relaxed and not stressed, okay? Because we still want to be animated and authoritative in our delivery with our body language. You want to use the open hands and stand upright and look people in the eye, but try to be relaxed, okay? Because it shows that you're familiar with your content, you're familiar with what's going on, and it gives them confidence in you. So try to be relaxed, whatever that does for you, maybe listening to music, 10 deep breaths, I don't know, looking out the window, whatever, cup of tea, whatever makes it. Secondly, convey confidence in being comfortable. Because your body language is an extension of your personality. And if someone's very shy, they have shy body language. So we want to be confident and comfortable, like I'm at home here talking to you people. Even though we're a bit nervous and have had the touches of the podium panics, but we can still do it there. And so, as it says in the notes, the body language is an extension of our personality and is often subconscious. We don't think about it, it's just how we react to a group of people. And sometimes it might be difficult to change just on the spot like that. So rather than to change your mannerisms, try and just use our nervous energy to show confidence and to feel comfortable. As we said, stand up straight, face the audience head on. Don't hold the notes or your open the mouth. Don't do that. Don't cross your arms or your legs. It's like, what does that tell you? If someone's talking like this and crossing his arms, what does that tell you about his attitude?
Not interested.
He's not interested. Oh, I'm just here to get back here. So don't cross your arms or legs. If you're like this, some guys stand like this. Don't cross your legs either. If you're beside the podium, don't do that. But use your hands to highlight your main points, Good gestures are good, like the Mediterranean people, they use their hands, they reinforce the points. But the point is, don't repeat the same gesture more than 20 times in one presentation. You don't want the Bill Clinton thumb. He always does this. He wasn't allowed to do that, so he decided to do that, but it becomes the Bill Clinton thumb, it's like every time you see him, he just... So, as a rule, they say don't use the same gesture more than 20 times, otherwise it becomes a bit of a comedy routine. But we do want to be confident. Thirdly, enthusiasm. We want to show enthusiasm. We saw some enthusiasm from the Microsoft guy. Maybe don't need to be that enthusiastic, but anyway, got their attention. They were with him. But of course, nobody likes to listen to a dull presentation. It puts us all to sleep. And we've all been there and heard those. So on one hand, we don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, want to be enthusiastic. Nobody uses gestures like a maniac, this is too much, So everything in moderation. We don't have distracting mannerisms. We don't want your mannerisms, even though you're trying to connect, but we don't want your mannerisms to distract from the message, And you don't be frozen either. Some people just stand behind the pulpit. It's like, oh, come on, man. So don't hide it behind the furniture. And so if you're moving, if it's not excessive, it can actually accentuate your point, And we've seen good examples of that. that was not a good example, but we've seen good examples. Moving around can actually accentuate your enthusiasm, look authentic. You know, the usual things, don't rub your nose or your ear or your chin, might be good for grandpa in the parlour, but not on the presentation. Don't play with your jewellery, your hair, the girls do the twiddly thing, don't do that. The coins in your pocket, don't rattle the coins in your pocket, play with your pen and your pointer, So these are all distracting mannerisms. Don't speak to your notes like this. Don't turn your back and speak to the screen, turn your head away from the audience, because the audience is going to upgrade your talk, your presentation, on how they perceive you. So that's why it's important to have some confidence, It shows your level of confidence. If you're sort of turning around and talking to them and they look at the back of your head, it doesn't make you look competent. Okay? So what are you going to do? Communicate. And fourthly, we want to have eye contact. Because when you look into the eyes, it's like, it's the window of the soul, isn't it? And so when you're looking people in the eye, you're really connecting to the inner them. And that's what we want to try and do. You're connecting to their brain. So, nod your head and smile, acknowledge them. This is good to do. And really, when you're in a room, try to make eye contact with everyone, And when there's 50 or 100, that's quite easy. Just look around, but try to make eye contact with everyone so they feel connected, included. But avoid fastening your gaze on your notes. This thing like, yes, and on the chart or the screen, as we've said, or at some place above everyone's head. I saw one guy from England, and the whole time he talked, he looked at the top corner of the room. He did not look at anyone. He just spoke that for like 40 minutes. And you're going, hey, wait, come, we're here. He said, I guess he was nervous, and the whole time he looked at the back of the room and thought, don't do that, but try to look everyone in the eye, okay? But of course, we don't want to stare at one person, the pretty girl on the left or the handsome man on the right. Don't it's a bit intimidating, right? So don't glare at someone or stare overlongly at one person. That's a little bit too much, okay? Yes, and because the smaller the audience, then the more eye contact you've got to give them, because it's more intimate. Yes, but you don't want to intimidate them. Staring at Bronwyn for 20 minutes. There's other people there. We don't want to do that. Yeah, so just be
harassment.
Yes, okay. So body language barriers. Now let's just think of these some questions for us. Just answer these 3 questions from our own experience. What body language would you use to explain your ideas to a friend? If you're talking to a friend, what sort of body language would you use?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
The hands? Like the Mediterranean people?
Well, do you mean like a one-on-one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So then it depends on context.
Okay.
So if you're out for coffee,
Okay.
then you might lean forward to show that you're
Alright.
actually engaging that
Yeah.
person.
You're interested in them? Okay. Alright. What body language do you think shows confidence?
If your arms are not folded, that certainly shows confidence that you're open to actually say
Alright, it's open, yes, you're not hiding behind your arms, you're like, okay, good. What body language do you find the most distracting?
Somebody can't make eye contact.
When you,
Yes, yeah.
you're trying to get on, hey, look, yeah.
What do you say?
And then when we talk about culture, see a lot of Asians are like that, it's like
look at the top of
rude.
your head.
Yes.
If you look them in the eye, it's like you're picking a fight. I've had that experience. For where, you look them in the eye, true blue, it's straight, but this is an aggressive move in some cultures. So that's why we need to know our audience.
Yeah.
Because when we're doing business, we're not just going on holiday, so...
Usually look at the top of the head.
The top,
Yep, in the forehead.
Okay, there you go. Look at the top. But don't stare them in the eye because I think they want to fight.
That's great.
And that's not good for business. We know that. Alright, good. Now, C, the third part, is using your voice. And there's 5 important aspects to using our voice. Okay? Number 1, the volume. It's important, even if we're shy, but people have to hear what you're saying. Thankfully today, most places have a microphone. there's a PA system of some sort. But then sometimes you might be in a bigger seminar room where there's no PA at a company, some of our opposition there, and those sort of things. So they need to hear what you're saying. So don't speak too soft. And don't speak too loudly because they go, oh shh, you know, just get it right. But we want the audience to be able to hear what you say and understand what you say. Just to think of that. All right? Secondly, the pace. Aim to speak at an even pace that's easy to listen to, that's comfortable for them. Okay? They say when you watch the ABC News, for example, count the number of words the ABC newsreader says in 30 seconds. They say that's a good speed, or the BBC, you know, the Queen's English. And they think that's a good, comfortable, easy to listen to because they've worked it out, it's their business. And because you listen to the news, it's easy to listen to, isn't it? You can watch the news for half an hour and you don't feel like, ooh. You just sit there and it just flows. And so they've worked it out. So there's a good guide to go by. It'll feel a bit slower than normal speech, the normal conversation. And of course, if you feel yourself getting nervous and speeding up, just stop, take a breath, and just carry on. Take a little pause, take a breath, and go at a slower space, slower pace. And try not to leave long pauses while you're looking at your notes. If you forget, try not to. And the filler words, try not too many. Nothing worse than the speaker going. And the next point is so try not to have the filler words. They're very annoying. But do use the small pauses, you know, for effect. So you finished it, made a point, made a statement, or a recommendation, or whatever. A little pause for effect. It's quite. It lets the word just hang there, and people can take it in quite nicely. The next one is the tone. Engaging speakers modulate their tone. It's not monotone. This is the worst, isn't it? When someone's monotone. Thank you for coming today. Very exciting talk we have for you on our products. It's going to change the health industry. You've got to modulate your voice up and down. So it's energized, has some enthusiasm. Otherwise, we don't want to put them to sleep. But also even a monotonous high-level voice is hard on the ears, you know. Thank you everyone, we're here today and it's going to be wonderful. They might try to sound excited, but that high pitch monotone is hard on the ears. It's like, oh, I need an earache. So watch our tone. So just open our mouth and express clearly. A good speaking voice is not harsh and it's not nasal. Unfortunately, some people have a nasal voice up in the nose, but try to steer away from a nasal one because that's very irritating after half an hour. It's a bit not that pleasant, okay? And try not to run our words together. We're good in Australia at mumbling our words together and have a good weekend, but try not to mumble our words together, run them together. Try and have some variety, talk deliberately, and just stress our main points. Then comes to the fourth point, our pronunciation. Of course, you may not be able to change your pronunciation overnight, you know, but make sure you know how to pronounce the names and the technical words, the important words. Make sure you know you're stressing on the right syllable instead of the wrong syllable, you know. Make sure you can pronounce the words correctly because we want our audience to understand what we're saying, you know. You know, when you listen to some new Australians and they put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, you think it just jars. So we don't want to do that in our business. So don't exaggerate the intonation or the pronunciation of individual words too much. Just be natural, but let's get our pronunciation right. And the fifth one is with the language. That your language is going to reflect who you are and how the people see you, your credibility, the language that you use. So only use language that's appropriate for your audience and it's appropriate for your topic. Make sure we have the correct grammar, correct word choices, and of course this comes from having good preparation. That's why we don't do the impromptu thing where you can say anything that's on the top of your head. We prepare everything, we get the grammar, everything right, so we have the best presentation we can. And also remember, our audience could have people from very different social or ethnic backgrounds. So take that into consideration. Like we said, we must know our audience. If our customers are from predominantly Asian cultures, for example, then we need to think about the language that we use. Not too complicated. If their English may not be that strong, use simpler words, these sort of things. Remember some off-colour remarks. might offend them. See, it might be hilarious for the Aussies, but it could offend our guests from overseas. So be careful of any off-colour comments. We don't want to offend them and alienate our audience. And it's interesting how companies, they actually choose words. Here's an interesting video from Apple, and just listen to the words that they choose. The language is important.
Great, wonderful, remarkable, really nice, really well, really nice, really easy, better and better and better, smarter and smarter and smarter, better and better and better, really nice, really great, easier, great, 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 awesome, really nice, really wonderful, really fast, wonderful, really cool, really nice, very nice, amazing, awesome, great, really outstanding. Jeff?
Really easy, really easy, really easy. It's that easy. It's that easy, really easy. Easily, it's really easy. Just as easy, really great, fantastic, amazing, priceless. So beautiful, really nice.
Thank you, Jeff. Bill?
Absolutely incredible, incredible, unbelievable, unbelievable, incredible, beautiful, great, remarkable, amazing, great, beautiful, great, amazing, amazing, great, beautiful, incredible, great, incredible, great, great, just incredible, great, 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 really cool, just great, 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 really cool, great, 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 beautiful, incredible, it's amazing, incredible, incredible, absolutely
Donald Trump should do this.
amazing, amazing, just really great, amazing, incredible, just incredible, amazing, great, great, unbelievable, amazing, incredible, 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 amazing, incredible, it's incredible, amazing, it's incredible. All right, next, amazing, great, easy, 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 useful, absolutely gorgeous. Back to Steve.
So, incredible, incredible, great, amazing, incredible, great, 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 beautiful, awesome, beautiful, stunning, great, cool, great, incredible, great. That's what we have for you today. Thank you for coming. And
That's scary.
It's scary, isn't it?
That's great, incredible.
Great, it's great, it's great, amazing
But
great.
it's interesting how they choose the language, see?
Yeah.
By design, this is not impromptu, that they want people to, they'll go home with these great, incredible, wonderful about their Apple products. Yeah, it's interesting. Alright, so if we remember using our voice, remember volume, pace, tone, pronunciation, language. If we just have a little, what are they again? What are the 5 points of using your voice?
Volume,
Volume,
pace,
pace,
tone,
okay,
Pronunciation.
pronunciation,
Language.
language. Oh, very good. Doing very well. Alright, next one. We've done that one. Part D, interacting with the audience. And so really there's 5 general ways to interact with our audience. Number 1, give your rehearsed opening statement. Remember, we don't do impromptu presentations, we prepare our opening and our closing, okay? Don't improvise at the last minute. And don't try that joke that may fall flat and just, that's the end of your, nothing worse than a flat joke going, the silence. You just lost all momentum. So,
Tumbleweeds.
yeah, you can hear the crickets going. So forget the jokes in the opening, alright. But do ask a question. You can ask questions at the beginning of your presentation, like we said, to find out some of their prior knowledge, just a show of hands. And because asking questions it has some benefits. Firstly, it allows you to engage their opinion or understanding. It gives you some idea. Who's looked at this, who's done, these sort of things. Second, it encourages the audience to be actively engaged with the topic. They get to participate, which is always good, rather than remaining passive. Thirdly, it shows the audience that you're interested in their opinion. If you give them a chance to answer some questions, or they want to hear from me, so that makes them feel involved. This is a good idea. Some people, they ask questions and answer it themselves, in a hurry. Try not to do that. Give them time, give them a few things, but don't answer it for themselves. And don't you answer your own question. That's not a good to do, okay? And so that they'll feel like they've contributed to the presentation. But also we need to think when interacting with the audience about their attention span. Because it varies a lot, doesn't it? In general, attention is high at the beginning, but it tends to fall even after the first 10 minutes. Therefore, it's important to highlight or repeat key ideas during your long, say, if it's more than 20 minutes, you need to repeat your key ideas so they don't forget and it keeps them awake. Yes. And just be aware of that. So it's carefully managed. You might say, well, you could say, look, now let me just summarise what I've just said, you know, and then it just keeps them going like that. Boost their level of attention. And especially at the end, don't just fade away at the end like we said. We want to finish on the up, on a positive note. Don't just sort of, thank you very much, and die out at the end. We don't want to die out at the end. We want to finish on a high note with a high level of attention. But pay attention also to the subtle audience feedback mechanism. Should the level of coughing suddenly increase, it's a good idea. Somebody might be losing their attention. Their patience might be wearing thin. Yes, it does happen. It might be time to wrap up that particular section and move to the next one. You may not be meeting their needs. Okay? And but without making sure that no important points are left out. Okay? And then fourthly, the use of time. And this is, as he said, if we don't prepare adequately, it's easy to become nervous and we rush through the presentation on our nerves and we finish too early, or we waffle and we go over time without accomplishing our purpose. A real principle of presentations says in your notes there, use the pacing established during your many presentation rehearsals. This is standard through every industry. When you give oral presentations, you have to rehearse it to get the timing right, to start well, finish well, allow for questions. So you have your maximum kind of presentation that works the best. We have to rehearse, none of this impromptu stuff. So in our company, we want to stress we're going to always rehearse our presentations, do it with other colleagues, get their feedback, because they might think of ideas you've forgotten, but we must rehearse our presentations for this company. Follow the plan, don't decide to wing it. Because once you have that prepared, the audience will sense that you're prepared and we're going well and we're going to finish and do everything that you said we'd do. And the last one is personal appearance. Again, your person doesn't affect your credibility, so informal clothing may be inappropriate for a certain professional presentation. So just look the part, alright? But on the next part here, what to do when things go wrong? Because inevitably some technical thing can go wrong. The power goes out, the Microsoft slide doesn't open in their Apple software, all sorts of things can happen. So what to do? There's some do's and don'ts when the mic doesn't work. When things are beyond your control, the only thing you can do is control your reaction to them. You can't control the technology not working, but you can control your reaction. Just like a sailor at sea is at mercy to the elements, so is the speaker. You're kind of at mercy to the technical elements, but you can control how you react. You batten down the hatches for the rough weather, and you do the same when your microphone doesn't work or the lights don't work, especially where they've got you standing, or the music in the room next door is too loud. You know, these sort of things happen. But 6 things to do and not to do. Let's have a look. First of all, don't blow your cool, all right? Keep calm. It doesn't do our company any favours when you lose your cool. Do maintain your dignity. That does our company a lot of favours. These guys are together, they're mature. Don't surrender to the situation. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. There's always an answer we can find. Do your best under any circumstances. Don't continually refer to the problem. Remember he said, don't apologise and carry on in the speech. You're wasting time, just get on with it. And do keep your sense of humour. Now here you can make a bit of a joke, it'll probably work because everyone knows what's going on. But this is what not to do when things don't go well for you. Don't do this.
Oh no.
It was too much for the lad.
Oh, that is very real.
Is it?
That's it. He's off.
Yes.
So that's what not to do when
Yeah.
things don't go your way. Alright? Yeah. So just remember again, we don't blow your cool, do maintain your dignity, don't surrender to the situation, do your best under any circumstances, don't continually refer to the problem, and do keep your sense of humour. Now, if we just, do we know what they are? What are the 5 again? The 6 again?
Don't blow your cool.
Don't blow your cool,
Do maintain your dignity.
do maintain your dignity,
Don't surrender to the situation.
don't surrender to the situation,
Do your best under any
do your
circumstance.
best,
Don't continually refer to the problem.
okay,
Oh, keep your sense of humour.
and keep your sense always.
Well done.
Brad's good at keeping his sense. Well, it keeps us, yeah, that's the way to live, isn't it? Alright, good. And the next one is handling questions and answers. At the end, when you have your question time, how do we handle them? Because really, you need a question and answer time. Factor that into your time management. You'll leave 5 minutes at the end for question and answers, because people, remember, they'll have some question, hopefully, for our products and services. They'll want to find out more. So allow for that, because it benefits you and the audience. And because feedback, it lets you know how much they've understood, how much they've taken on board, how much they agree with your proposal in the presentation. And it also gives you time to reinforce your message and the areas that of concern to the audience. So here's some 9 tips for dealing with questions. Number 1, plan to allow for them, as we said. So tell them at the start, we're going to have question time at the end. Keep your questions and we're happy to answer them. So plan for a smooth transition into the question answer time. Also, anticipate questions try to think, what questions would they ask me? Is it about maybe shipping, product, cost of air freight, whatever? And then we can get some factors and be prepared. There's nothing better than to be able to take in all the questions and give them all the answers. That's a wonderful feeling to have at a presentation. Okay? Anticipate the questions they may ask, and you can rehearse some of the answers with your colleagues. Yes. Right? Thirdly, clarify the question. Before you answer it, don't feel pressure you've got to answer straight away, but just make sure you understand the question yourself, and just ask them for clarification if you're not quite sure. Just clarify the question, or maybe rephrase it to make sure you understand what they're actually asking you. And if you don't know, just admit it. Don't pretend, don't wing it. Just say, look, I don't know the factors for shipping to Italy, but I'll send them to you by email tomorrow. I'll find them. Try and do that, but don't just tell lies and just pretend. Okay? And also, with that, don't be defensive. Give the listeners an expression that you welcome their questions. Okay, just accept it. All right. And if you don't know, I'll send you information tomorrow. So thank you very much. Yes. And so work out how you can do that. Okay. Align your answer with your main message. Rather than blurting out the first response that comes to mind, always think you're in control, this is your presentation, and you want to make everything fit together. And so maybe how can I answer this question in line with what I've presented, like the politicians do. They take a question and they channel the answer down the avenue that they're doing. But we want to do the same. Our presentation's for a real purpose for our business, and so let every answer be useful for that. It can be very useful. Then disarm loaded questions. Occasionally you're going to get the guy who's going to have a loaded question, and some people love just to trip you up for the sake of tripping you up to show how clever they are or aren't. And it might even be based on a false premise or a wrong assumption from their firm's part. It could be irrelevant. But again, be polite, but don't back down. Again, we don't apologise. You're in control. Maybe disarm them by asking them to explain the question. Could you explain that another way, please? So don't let them get the better of you. We don't do that. Also, divert irrelevant questions. don't waste time's questions that are out of place, even if you know the answers. Don't waste time, because nothing to do with the topic, you know. So politely ask the person, how does the question bear on this presentation? If it's something really from left field, don't give them room, because remember, it's our presentation, not theirs. Now, if you get complex questions, just divide it. Sometimes people ask 3 questions in one, so just split it up into its parts. It's an easy one. If it's multifaceted, just split each component up and then answer that, and that helps the listeners understand as well. And then lastly, summarise. Just watch your time, but conclude with just a summary of your proposal at the end. Control the way your presentation ends, and this gives the final impression for our audience. They go away with the takeaway that we want them to have the takeaway with. So make sure you're in control, remember, okay? And so that's it, handing out questions and now things in. So to summarise our delivering oral presentations, we've looked at the pre-talk preparation, get it all ready. The body language and movement we've looked at, using your voice, interacting with the audience, what to do when things go wrong, and handling questions and answers, alright? So, you know, presenting these oral presentations can be daunting, especially when we're all new to it, like some of us are, that's alright. But you can take courage from Annis Near, the French author. She said, if you act confidently, soon enough you'll feel confident. Use our energy to act confident, then you'll feel confident. And as she says, life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage.
Very good.
You know what I mean? So we can do it, yeah? Thank you for today. And so we can do good presentations for our firm and do our firm proud, whatever it is. So just remember again the assessment we mentioned at the beginning. So after the 6th session, learners will present a 5-minute old presentation on one of our new products, which we'll give to you tomorrow, to colleagues using PowerPoint for peer and supervisor evaluation 2 days after the end of the 6th session. So this is the 4th one, so after 2 more. And again, we have a feedback form if you could help us out for session 4, just like you did for session 3. Thank you very much. You've been wonderful. And look out, world, we're coming.
Yes. With the good news.
Oh, always good. You're on the next session. He misses out next time.
I'm comfortable either way.
We just take a couple of minutes to do the feedback. Again, put some comments, not just tick the boxes. We want to do it better for our company. We want to be the best. That's why we're in business.
Yes.
We want to be the best. The best pharmaceutical company in Australasia. That's why you're with us. We believe in you. Write a few comments at the bottom if you may.
Go.
Let's go, mate.
Go.
Let's get into it.
We finish? All right, thanks for your feedback. Thank you.
I've just got to put this one on.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. You've been great. And so we say thank you.